Yo, what's good with y'all? It's Keymajor back with another video for y'all today. I'm gonna show you guys how to make some dark, evil samples for Southside, something like cubeatz would make for Southside. But if you guys enjoy this tutorial, learn something new, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and let's go straight to the video. So here we're on the FOP, and the first sound I laid down was this synth X13 from Rio Leiva's Analog Magic one-shot kit. This entire kit is free if you go on Rio Leiva's YouTube. So this melody is very dark, very repetitive, and I just try to make it as catchy as possible. Always make your melody sound catchy, and the listener being able to hum it out or memorize it really is what helps your melody stand out and really become hits. So I first started with this simple melody right here. So the way I created this is I first laid down my root note, which is A, and then instead of having the A just copy over the whole time, I wanted to switch it up a little bit at the end. That's when I just copied it over and brought it down 4 notes, and I just added this transition note to kind of smooth it in. And then up here, I just laid down these very simple chords where it was just A, E, and A again. I just took the A from down here up an octave, moved the A one step to the right just to kind of arpeggiate the notes. And then for the second half, I just took the E up 1 note. Since I used the note down here, I already knew it would work. Since this is the same note, it's just up or down an octave. It's always going to be in scale. So yeah, for the second half, I copied this over and then I layered the A with a C just to create like a small chord. And then after that, I added these top notes right here. First off, it's just the exact same notes down here. I just pitched it up an octave and I created like a different pattern. I know a lot of you might struggle to layer or add new notes to your melodies, but just use the exact same notes. Just pitch them up an octave or down an octave, and it really helps layer on top of your melodies. After that, for the effects, I first added this gross beat, and all it's doing is pitching it down an octave, but it's a little faster than the usual. Then I added halftime and then sound shifter, pitching it up 4. And this just made it sound really vintage, kind of old and dark and evil. So the next thing I did is I just exported it right here and I pitched it up 500 cents. And the next thing I did is instead of having it on Stretch, I put it on Stretch Pro. Now what Stretch Pro is doing is it's basically kind of filtering out the sound, which makes it sound more vintage, more old. And it also just takes out a lot of the harsh highs. So this is how it sounds without Stretch Pro. You can see it takes those really harsh highs out. And then the effects on this one, I just put ozone imager and I made it a tiny bit more mono. Then after that, I added a synth bass and a couple of counter melodies. First one I added is from the same one-shot kit. I added the old Yamaha 13. And I added these very small chords. Now, even though these chords are very nice, the sound itself was very dry. So for the effects, I first added Echo Boy, the default preset. I turned the mix up and I turned the feedback up. This is just giving it a very long delay. Then ambience reverb, giving it a long reverb. And then pancake, so it has more movement, panning left and right. Just making the sound come to life instead of it just being so dry and boring. And then lastly, just EQing out the lows. So from the same bank, I added the Prophet 1856. This is just a harsh type of synth. Now I forgot to mention, with all the one shots that I'm using, this is the envelope that I'll make. I basically turned everything down, the sustain all the way up, and the release at default. I might turn this up a little bit. This is basically just how long you want the note to play after you let go of the note. Now this is probably the most simple melody in this entire sample. The only thing that really spices it up is just the very simple slide notes. But just like the last sound, it was very dry, very boring. I added the Echo Boys Galaxy preset, and this just made it sound a lot more wide, a lot more ambient. Pancake, so it has more movement. This one's a lot faster. This one's at 1 bar. And then an EQ taking out all the lows and lowering some of the harsh highs. Now it sounds like this instrument is being played in a very, very large room, and it makes it sound a lot more full. Now the last instrument I added for this first part was the synth bass. Now if you guys been watching my videos, I use this synth bass way too much, but it's this one right here, and it's from my Onyx multi-kit. You guys have been loving this kit so much. If you still have not copped it, it'll be the first link in the description down below. It's only $10. You get drums, one shots, and bonus samples, everything you need. But like I said, I chose this one right here. The envelope, I just made it a square. I enabled cut itself, and I put the poly on max 1, Porta enabled, and then just put the slide up to 1 so the notes are gliding. Then just followed the root note of the original sample, and then just added these notes right here to kind of spice it up. Then for the second half, I added these two sounds. So the first thing I did is I replaced the synth bass with a piano. I chose the SRX piano, and I just chose the original preset. And I also chopped it up a lot more to give it more rhythm instead of one steady note. And then the very last sound I added for this whole melody is from the same kit. It's the old Yamaha 13. And then the envelope, I did the exact same thing. But for this sound, I put it on Stretch Pro and I pitched it all the way up. It just raised the highs and made it sound a lot more harsh. And then the effects were similar to the other ones. Some ambience reverb to make it sound more wide, more full. Vintage chorus to give it a wide chorus type of sound. And then delay 3 to give it a very nice quick delay. And then just a EQ filtering out the sound, cutting out some of the highs and taking out all the lows. And also for a lot of these counter melodies, I panned some of them a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, and I kept some of them in the middle. Just giving every sound its own little room in the final sample. That was basically it. I created this very simple arrangement. Then I laid out the stems. And then on the master, I first added this EQ. Just cleaning up the sample, lowering a little bit of the lows, toning down some of the mids, and then raising some of the highs to make it sound more clean. Sound shifter, pitching it up 1, and then a standard soft clipper that's just making the sample a lot louder. And then I exported that all out, and then I had the final sample. A couple last second tips I could give with this sample is I put the BPM at 166. Now I put the BPM somewhat high to give it more energy, be a lot more fast and up tempo. And also a lot of these sounds are very empty, very quiet on their own. But when you play all of them together, it makes a full sample. So adding simple counter melodies like these may not sound full right there on its own. But once you add it in the full sample, it fills up a lot of those empty gaps in the final sample. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it for the full sample. If you guys enjoyed and learned something new, make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss any more videos. I'm gonna start live streaming as well. I'm gonna be doing a lot of beat critiques, but mainly sample critiques. Not a lot of people be doing those, and I know a lot of you guys make samples as well, so I want to do some live critiques. But yeah, man, make sure you hit that bell and subscribe so you don't miss any of those live streams. Another way to get notified is follow me on Instagram. It's at the bottom of the screen right now. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all for all the support lately, and I'll see you guys in the next video.